Imagine for a moment that you're trying to build your dream house, but instead of living in it, you leave it empty. Now, multiply that by millions of houses scattered across entire cities without a single soul living in them. That's exactly what's happening in China right now. The Chinese economic model, sold for decades as a miracle of growth, is crumbling before our eyes. The Chinese Communist Party bet everything on building, building and more building, even if no one was going to use those structures. The result? Ghost cities that cost billions and generate no real wealth. This phenomenon isn't just a geopolitical curiosity. It directly affects your wallet, even from thousands of miles away. China is the world's second largest economy, and when it sneezes, the whole world catches a cold. If you invest in stocks, have small savings, or are trying to get out of debt, what happens there can change the game for you here. Let S dive into this story and understand why China AS collapse is an opportunity to rethink your financial life. When we talk about ghost cities, it's not an exaggeration. According to Bloomberg reports, China has over 50 cities built from scratch, with skyscrapers, shopping malls and highways, but no inhabitants. Chinese state media admit that nearly 20% of the apartments built in the last 2 decades are empty. That means millions of housing units that have never seen a resident. It's like building a giant sandcastle, but never using it. Except in China's case, these castles cost trillions of dollars. The problem started with an obsession with numbers. The Chinese government set aggressive GDP growth targets, promising 5% annually, no matter the cost. But how do you grow when people aren't consuming enough? The answer was to inflate the economy with unnecessary construction. Buildings, bridges, tunnels and roads sprang up at a dizzying pace, even without real demand. This created the illusion of prosperity, but now the bill has come due, and it's a heavy one. The country's largest developers, like Evergrande, are drowning in debts of over $300 billion. Evergrande, once a symbol of success, has declared bankruptcy. Country Garden, another giant, is following the same path. The real estate sector, which accounts for nearly 30% of China's GDP, is collapsing. Think of it as a house of cards. You can stack as much as you want, but without a solid foundation, it all falls apart. And the missing foundation in China is domestic consumption. Without people spending, the economy doesn't turn. And without a turning economy, growth is just a number on paper. So why does this matter to you? Because China doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's a central piece on the global chessboard. When Chinese developers go bankrupt, the banks that lent them money suffer too. Those banks are connected to global markets, including Wall Street. If you have money invested in ETFs, stocks, or pension funds, this crisis can affect your returns. And it doesn't stop there. China's collapse is shifting global investment flows, and that could be an opportunity for you. In the United States, household consumption drives the economy, accounting for 68% of GDP. In China, that number is only 38%. Why? Because the average Chinese citizen doesn't have the freedom to invest or spend like you do. The government controls major industries like banks and oil companies, and ordinary citizens can't buy their stocks. There's no accessible stock market like the New York Stock Exchange, nor retirement plans like the 401k that allow Americans to build wealth over time. This lack of financial freedom stifles consumption in China. People save money out of fear for the future, especially due to a precarious healthcare system and uncertain pensions. With the one-child policy, a young Chinese person often has to support 2 parents and 4 grandparents alone. This creates an extreme saving mindset, with 17% of the average income set aside just for medical emergencies. Meanwhile, in the US, the mindset is different. Investing is part of the culture, and money circulates, generating wealth. What does all this mean for you? The Chinese model based on control and illusion is failing. And that failure opens doors for those willing to act. In the US, you have tools that the Chinese don't: access to financial markets, investment apps, and the ability to start small. But to take advantage, you need to understand the game. The Chinese crisis is forcing the world to reposition itself, and those who act now can come out ahead. I know what it's like to look at your bank balance and feel it'll never be enough. But the good news is, you don't need much to start. The crisis in China is a wake-up call. Economies built on illusions don't last. You have the chance to build your own wealth with simple, real steps. Let EES continue this conversation to show you how to turn this global scenario into an opportunity for your wallet. Now that you understand the scale of China's problem, let's talk about how this can be an opportunity for you. While China tries to prop up its economy with inflated numbers and empty cities, the United States is playing a different game. Here, wealth is built by people like you, who have access to financial tools that can change your life. Think about it. The average American invests, even if it's just $50 a month, because they know money sitting in a bank is money lost. Have you ever thought about what you could do with just $100 invested today? In the US, investing is as easy as ordering a coffee at Starbucks. Apps like Robinhood or Fidelity let you buy shares in companies like Apple or Tesla with just a few clicks, and you don't need to be rich to start. Studies show that investing $100 a month in an index fund, like the S&P 500, can grow to over $80,000 in 30 years with compound interest. That's the power of the US financial market, something the Chinese simply don't have access to. But here's the truth. Investing isn't just about money. It's about mindset. While the Chinese save out of fear, Americans invest with confidence. And that confidence comes from a system that encourages growth. For example, the 401k, a corporate retirement plan, allows ordinary workers to build a fund that grows over time. In China, this doesn't exist. The government controls wealth, and the people are left out of the game. Now let's bring this to your reality. I know life isn't easy. Maybe you're dealing with student loans, expensive rent, or just trying to save for your first home. But listen, you don't need to wait until you're ready to start. The Chinese crisis shows that fragile economies don't survive. You can start small with $10 a week and still be ahead of millions who don't have that opportunity. A real example, meet John, a 28-year-old rideshare driver from Chicago. He started investing $25 a month in a low-cost ETF while paying off his student loans. 5 years later, he has $4,000 invested, already generating dividends. He's not a millionaire, but he's building something the Chinese government would never allow. John realized that money works for you if you know how to use it. While China relies on exports to survive, the US is bringing industries back home. The CHIPS and Science Act, passed in 2022, is injecting billions into semiconductor factories. This means more jobs and more opportunities for those willing to learn new skills. If you're young and seeking independence, or past 30 and looking for stability, now is the time to act. The world is repositioning, and you can too. But here's a warning: nothing happens if you just watch. China is collapsing because it bet on a model that ignores people. You don't need to make the same mistake. Start today, even if it's small. Open an investment account, research ETFs, or take an online finance course. Small steps lead to big results. And to make sure you're on this journey with me, I'm proposing a challenge. If you want to transform your financial life and seize the opportunities emerging now, comment below with the phrase, "I'm going to build my wealth." When I see your comment, I'll get excited because I know you are taking the first step to change your story. And as a reward, I'll leave a little heart on your comment. Now that you've commented, let's keep going. The next step is understanding how the Chinese crisis is changing the global game and how you can position yourself to take advantage. It's not about getting rich overnight, but building a solid foundation that gives you freedom. Let's dive into practical strategies you can apply today. Okay, now that you're in the game and committed to building your wealth, let's talk about how the crisis in China can be the push you needed to act. The world is changing fast, and China's economic collapse is creating opportunities you can seize. While the Chinese Communist Party tries to prop up an economy reliant on exports, the United States is bringing industries back home. This means more jobs, more innovation, and most importantly, more opportunities to invest in the future. Think of it as a global chessboard. China bet everything on being the world's factory, but now countries like the US, Mexico, and India are stealing the spotlight. For example, Tesla opened a new factory in Texas, and tech companies are investing billions in artificial intelligence and semiconductors. This creates a wealth cycle, more jobs, more money circulating, more opportunities to invest, and you can be part of it, even starting small. But here's the catch. To seize these opportunities, you need to be in the game, and the first step is changing your mindset. Stop thinking investing is only for those with lots of money. A Vanguard study showed that investing $50 a month in an index fund can grow to over $20,000 in 20 years with compound interest. That equals money that could pay for a vacation in Miami or help with a down payment on a house. Now imagine this. While the Chinese stash money under the mattress due to lack of options, you have access to tools like the Roth IRA or apps like Acorns, which invest your spare change automatically. The difference is you have options that millions in China would dream of having. A practical example. Sarah, a 32-year-old teacher from Ohio, started investing $30 a month in a dividend ETF 7 years ago. Today, she earns $200 a year in dividends alone, plus the growth of her investment. It's not a fortune, but it's extra money she reinvests to grow even more. Small steps, big results. But none of this happens if you don't act. The Chinese crisis is a reminder. Economies that don't prioritize people don't survive. You have the chance to build your own financial security, but you need to start now. A simple way to begin is to set aside 10% of your salary each month to invest, even if it's in a low-cost fund. It's like planting a seed that will grow into a thriving tree in the future. And here's a golden tip. Financial education is your superpower. While the Chinese government restricts access to investments, you can learn everything you need on YouTube, blogs, or free online courses. Knowledge is what separates those stuck in debt from those who achieve financial freedom. And I want to help you take that step. So, if you're committed to changing your financial life, I invite you to subscribe to the channel now. Clicking the subscribe button is a small gesture, but it's a sign you're ready to learn and act. Every video we release here brings practical tips to help you get out of debt, invest wisely, and build the life you've always wanted. Let's grow together. Now, let's get to the final part, where I'll show you exactly how to turn this global crisis into a practical plan for your wallet. You don't need to be a finance genius to start. Just take the first step. Let's show you how to do it simply and accessibly. We've reached the moment to turn everything we've discussed into a practical plan for your wallet. The crisis in China isn't just distant news. It's a sign that the world is changing, and you can use it to your advantage. While the Chinese model crumbles due to lack of consumption and freedom, you're in the US, with access to tools that can build your financial independence. Let's show you 3 simple steps to start today, even if you think you don't have extra money. First, build an emergency fund. Life is unpredictable. A medical emergency or car repair can knock you down if you are not prepared. Save $10 a week in a high-yield savings account like those offered by online banks. In a year, you'll have over $500, a safety net that millions of Chinese don't have. It's like having a life jacket before jumping into the sea. Second, invest. Even if it's a little, you don't need thousands of dollars to start. Apps like Acorns or Wealthfront let you invest small amounts in index funds, like the S&P 500. For example, $20 a month in an ETF can grow to $10,000 in 25 years, with an average 7% return. That's the power of compound interest, something the Chinese can't tap into due to government restrictions. Third, learn a new skill. The Chinese crisis is pushing industries to the US, especially in tech and manufacturing. Free online courses, like those on Coursera or YouTube, can teach you skills like programming or data analysis. My friend Mike, 35, learned Python in 6 months and landed a remote job that pays double what he earned as a waiter. Small actions today can change your future. Why does this work? Because unlike China, where the government controls wealth in the US, you have the freedom to create your own. But freedom comes with responsibility. Don't expect money to fall from the sky. The Chinese crisis shows what happens when a system ignores people. You have the chance to do things differently, building your wealth with consistent, smart steps. And here's a hard truth: no one will do it for you. I know how it feels to have bills that never stop coming or to see your paycheck vanish before the month ends, but every dollar you invest, every skill you learn, is a brick in your financial house. And that house can give you the freedom to travel, support your family, or even retire early. So, what now? Start small, but start today. Open an investment account, set aside $10 for your emergency fund, or watch a video on personal finance. The key is to act. The Chinese crisis is a reminder that fragile economies don't last, but you can build something solid. And I'm here to help you every step of the way. If you like this video and want to transform your financial life, leave a like now. That simple gesture helps us bring more content like this, with practical tips to help you start from zero and reach your goals. Your like makes all the difference in keeping this mission going. And to wrap things up, I'm proposing one final challenge. If you've made it this far and are ready to build your wealth, comment the phrase, "I'm in the game." When I see your comment, I'll leave a little heart because I know you recommitted to changing your financial story. Are we in this together? Big hug and see you in the next video.